Hi there. My name is Avil Beckford, and I'm the host of the One Problem podcast. We know that there are tons of problems in the world, but we're not going to get overwhelmed. We're going to focus on one problem at a time, and it's a way for us to learn from each other. As I've said time and time again, that most of the people who are guests on my podcast, I have some sort of relationship with them. And that's the case with today's guest, Jenny Siede. We met on LinkedIn a few months ago. She is the chief design thinker at Green Neurons. Over to you, Jenny.
Hey, Ella, thank you so much for having me. Such a great platform to tackle one problem at a time. I do have a problem. I thought it was so appropriate for this morning because last night I got stuck thinking about one tiny imperfection in the whole process of creating a production for my client. And I was not happy with myself at the end of the day. So when I got home, I got a chance to refresh and then start over again now this morning. So my one problem is I'm such a perfectionist. I know a lot of people can relate, especially if you're running a company and if you're in charge of a business operation, you are that type they call type A. You want everything to be almost exactly what you want it to happen. And truthfully, in production and in operation, you do want a smooth process. I'm always advocate that process first. When you have the right process, and then you get the results. And that's how my engineering background in software development helped prepare my mind for that. However, the perfectionist side is kind of scary because you could actually focus on something that could have been resolved if you are willing to take a break, let some oxygen flow, and then go back and take a look. You may actually find a different way of approaching a problem to solve it. So my one problem is don't be a perfectionist and don't get stuck in one tiny problem. That usually a tiny problem in that moment become really, really like a big, huge deal. But then step back. The solution is let it go. Take a deep breath. Start over again tomorrow. Or if you can start after a few, moments, sometimes taking a tea break or a coffee break. And so I have this obsession with Irish breakfast teas. I went to drink a cup of Irish breakfast tea yesterday. Still, I didn't feel like I was at a calm place to think of a solution. So I'm ready for today because after a night of sleep, I felt like I'm ready for today. So back to you, Abel.
Okay, thank you so much. So one other quick question. So you talked about being a perfectionist, and you also, the reality is that no one is perfect. Perfectionism is a myth. So have there been other times when this played out in your life?
I'm just going to dive into what a lot of women always find it challenging, especially if they're powerful women, they have a good career. And back to my 30s, when I was still an engineer in software development, I felt like I never find that perfect guy. Mr. Right? I was like, how come everyone is not measuring up? Like, he's not tall enough or he's not intelligent enough. Will there be that Mr. Perfect guy? And I have to say, it turns out to be more than perfect. My husband is the most supportive, kind, loving, balanced person. He's my equal. I am his equal. I think that one thing that I've learned being a perfectionist is when you are really just focus on developing yourself in both knowledge and spiritually, you will find your match at one point, Evel.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Jenny.